The Journey of Unity. The morning train from Brighton to London was unusually crowded. Strangers squeezed into the compartments, clutching bags, sipping coffee, and scrolling through their phones. The air buzzed with impatience, late arrivals, loud conversations, and the constant screech of metal against the tracks. Among the passengers sat Daniel, a white businessman in his 40s, tapping furiously on his laptop. Across from him sat Aisha, a young black student with headphones in her ears and a stack of books on her lap. Near the door, an older Asian man, Mr. Patel, clutched a grocery bag, while Maria, a Latina nurse, stood holding the rail, exhausted after a night shift. At first, the differences between them were all anyone seemed to notice. When Aisha's music leaked too loudly, Daniel scowled. When Mr. Patel accidentally brushed against Maria, another passenger muttered something about people who don't belong here. Tension simmered, words were exchanged, and soon the small space filled with sharp glances and quiet hostility. It was the kind of everyday racism and division that seemed invisible, until it boiled over. But then, everything changed. The train suddenly screeched, jerking violently as sparks flew outside the window. A deafening crash echoed, and the compartment plunged into darkness. Passengers screamed as luggage toppled and glass shattered. When the train finally screeched to a halt, smoke began to fill the air. Panic erupted. People pushed and shoved, desperate to escape. But amid the chaos, something unexpected happened. Daniel, the businessman, noticed that Mr. Patel had fallen, his grocery bag spilling everywhere. Without thinking, Daniel pulled him up, ignoring his own bleeding arm. "Come on, sir. Hold on to me," he shouted. Nearby, Aisha used her phone's flashlight to guide people through the smoke. She spotted Maria struggling to breathe, trapped under a broken suitcase. Without hesitation, Aisha dropped her books and helped free her. "Lean on me," she urged, wrapping an arm around the nurse. The small group began moving together, step by step, toward the emergency exit. Strangers who had glared at each other only minutes before were now relying on one another's strength. When they reached the exit, the door was jammed. Fear rippled through the crowd, but Maria, despite her exhaustion, remembered her training as a nurse. "Push together," she instructed. Daniel, Mr. Patel, and two other passengers braced their shoulders against the door while Aisha shined the light. With one final effort, the door burst open, and fresh air flooded in. One by one, the passengers climbed out. Some had cuts, others bruises, but they were alive. Outside, as emergency sirens wailed in the distance, the group collapsed onto the grass, coughing but grateful. For a moment, no one spoke. Then, Mr. Patel, still trembling, whispered, "Thank you, all of you. Without each other, we wouldn't be here." Daniel looked at Aisha and Maria, realizing the truth in his words. The tension, the prejudice, the unspoken walls between them, it all seemed so small compared to the bond they had just formed. Aisha broke the silence. "Funny, isn't it? We were fighting over music, seats, and space. But when it really mattered, none of that mattered." Maria nodded, her voice soft but steady. "In the end, it doesn't matter what color, race, or religion we are. What matters is that we're human. And today, humanity saved us." The group sat together as strangers, but something had shifted. They were no longer just individuals separated by differences, they were survivors bound by unity. Later, when news reporters asked what happened, Daniel summed it up simply. "We were people on a train, divided by prejudice. But when life tested us, we discovered something stronger than division, our shared humanity." That morning, the wreckage of a train became the birthplace of a lesson: racism divides, but compassion unites. And sometimes, it takes a journey through chaos to remind us that beneath our skin, we are all the same.